and we'll start off by doing this. I guess we'll start off by doing the Zack Snyder talk before we dive into Spider-Man. We'll blaze through this before we get to Spider-Man. But Zack had put this out the other day. Obviously, everyone losing their mind over it because of the Final Crisis bit in the back there, and then I saw a lot of people saying, confirmed. This is happening. This is what's going on. I saw Sil kind of edging around saying it, but being a little bit on the back end side. And I get it. That's his thing. Never mind. We disagree on those fronts. But when, again, words have meaning in my opinion. And so when you say confirmed, it kind of sounds like it's putting an absolute on something.
Yeah.
And this is not an absolute scenario. This is one where, again, it's wishful thinking, and it's wishful thinking that I have as well. But that's my whole point, is that it's like, and again, we could break it down and just the financials and everything.
At the end of the day, though, people should not treat this as some kind of confirmation.
Yeah, exactly. And that's my whole argument about all this stuff. But I'm over on this guy's live stream and I point that out, and he actually he responds by altering the definition of confirmed.
Oh,
like he alters the definition of it by saying, like, no, this is what Zack was intending. That's why it's confirmed. Like, it's not actually confirmed, but it's confirmed. And I'm like, that's not what that means. And that's not what this shit should be. And so it's a lot of people out there that are just trying to argue their own confirmation bias. Yeah. And that is why I do the pushbacks that I do. Because as much as I want it, I'm like, speculate all you want. Like, that's actually kind of why and to kind of segue into that, Kevin Smith put this out today. It says, "Dear Zack Snyder, please include the line, Aquaman's got mad sharks in any potential Final Crisis flick. It yearns to be the rallying cry of the Snyderverse. If Darkseid exclaimed it, that would especially rock. Many thanks, sir." And this is awesome. I'm actually fully 100% in support of this tweet, which probably would shock a lot of people, because the reason why is this is pure fan excitement over a possibility.
Yeah.
It's not running to the table to say it's happening, because
it's a fan expressing excitement.
It's a huge fan expressing excitement, but people are probably going to take that again as their own confirmation bias. Because, Kevin's got the inside track, but...
Yeah, he does. Yeah, the key words are potential. He said potential. I mean, there's the key word right there, in this tweet. The thing is, like, when you say confirmed, that's such a strong word. Like...
It is. Like, you don't say scoop confirmed until you have evidence to back it up.
Oh, exactly, yeah. If like Amy Pascal saying something or Kevin Feige saying something, okay, then it's confirmed, right? But even the Hollywood Reporter can't be trusted. Look at the Boba Fett movie, right, with James Mangold. That was from THR, right?
Yeah, that was Boris Kit. Because you and I were talking about that the other night. Yeah, we were in DMs like going like, Mikey's like, wait, who dropped that info about Boba Fett? And I'm like, that's THR, man. And you were pretty shocked by that, actually.
Yeah,
you're like, oh shit, that was a big deal.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it wasn't like Umberto Gonzalez or something, That was Boris Kit,
Yeah, writing for the crap. That's the name of that outlet. Okay. Sorry, Umberto. Perhaps maybe some more fan art over there on Heroic Hollywood will help get you some money.
But Matt, I figured out, Matt, why so many people are mad at you. I figured it out.
Is it because I'm eloquent?
Well, that's a part of it, but
I'm a smug asshole.
But they're taking it really personally with you and Snyderverse. I figured out why. And being on the front lines, I hear your detractors all the time, dude. They wonder why I'm hanging out with you. So,
it's because I make you laugh.
And the other side of the fence, I hear from Midnight's Edge detractors like, "Why are you talking to them?" It's like I get both sides, right? They think you're Judas. They think you betrayed the cause, that you've gone to the other side, and they don't understand that Matt is just he's skeptical because he doesn't want to get disappointed again, and he needs to hear some overwhelming evidence for him to follow this trail. And I completely get it, Matt. I can totally get it. like I'll believe it when they say it, but I'll believe it when I see it type of
Well,
ideal.
it's not even like I'll believe it when I'm in the theater watching it or I'm watching it at home. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, people, like, I'll believe it if it's confirmed, like before. Like, it's like I
Yeah.
was telling people tonight about the Snyder Cut itself. Like, a lot of people who believe that the Snyder Cut happened as a 100% direct result of the movement. I do think that is a bit wrong. Not to
Yeah.
say that keeping it alive is not something to
It
be
certainly
happy about.
helped, but
It
I'd
helped.
argue that
It helped. It
But
helped, yeah.
again, you have to follow the chain. You have to follow like the money. It's really follow the money.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
Keelar was hired by AT&T to take over Warner, to start Warner Media. They brought him over from Hulu. They wanted to get into the streaming game. They decided to launch HBO Max. HBO Max needed a hot property in
Yep.
order to be able to compete with The Mandalorian or something like Netflix might
Yeah.
have. What do they have in their library that would bring about a lot of social media buzz or attention? Oh, the Snyder Cut. Cool. That's something that's shot. It's tangible. It exists. We just need to finish it. Oh, how much money will it take? 70 million. That's actually a small budget for some of these things. So they played it. Keelar played it up, got it made. Fantastic stuff. Love the movie. But it was done as a marketing tool for HBO Max. And I was explaining this to Mad Max tonight. I'm all like, dude, the fact that the studio has denied any and all data about how well it did, the fact that it hasn't released any information about how well PVOD did, the fact that the Blu-rays, we don't know how well they've sold. The movie already on the top Blu-ray charts is now like number 24 in 2 months. Like I've seen people run with the story that, it was sold out on store shelves. We're in a pandemic. Go there right now. The store shelves are practically empty when it comes to new movies.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because once they sell out, they will just put a few more out. They've been segmenting out how many they actually put. So it's not to say that it's not being sold, but it's just not being sold in the rampant numbers. And this is not just for this movie. This is just right now, all movies at stores like that. They've just been limiting the amount of stock on the floor. Because it's like but again, it's trying to argue these feelings and these situations with people while trying. For me, I'm stubborn, so I just kind of like I'm very matter of fact. And trust me, you guys fucking hate me. Have you met my girlfriend? All right, like, do you think I fear you? Right? Do you think?
So Matt, when's your girlfriend gonna host a movie talk show to like?
Oh my god! No, she'll just you know what it is? She'd come in and we talk about like Downton Abbey. That's what we should do.
Some people would be really into that,
Dude, oh my god, I love Downton Abbey. Like flat out. No, we're both huge Downton Abbey fans. Like the new movie coming in March, it's like cool. That's going to be a date night. We're going to send the girls off with the family, go see Downton Abbey, fall in love with that world again, and probably end up rewatching the entire 6 seasons in the other movie because that's what we do. But no, it's like again, I'm stubborn, and believe me, you guys ain't got shit on that.
You're very opinionated, Matt, and I think that kind of
yeah.
That kind of intimidates people, and the way that you're opinionated, you're very articulate in the way that you go over things, and then for some people, it's kind of scary.
Well, again, it really is not anything to be take personally with me.
Yeah.
It's just really not. Like it's part of it comes from like doing being a manager at a movie theater, and like just like arguing with people about certain things, and like that's where a lot of it comes from. I mean, there's a whole bunch more to dive into in regards to like how Warner's responded to the movie and everything, but the fans are going to keep it in people's mind, which is great.
Yeah.
And look, if something happens with the merger, then great, perfect. I just I've been looking at Zaslav trying to find an argument for that to happen. To be honest with you, I've been Googling like Zaslav, trying to read certain things that he says or how he's run Discovery and everything else, and try to figure out his plan, because in order to back that up. And the thing is, I'm not seeing it because everything that they produce with Discovery and IDTV and all that stuff, TLC, I believe, falls into that category. It's all lower budget, made for TV nonsense. It's just trash, right?
Keep
But
in
it's
mind
entertaining
though.
trash.
Yeah, keep in mind though, it's a totally different context with HBO Max though. He's got money he didn't have before. Also, you have Disney Plus, who's throwing 33 billion on content next
Yeah,
Yeah.
year.
they're spending more and more and
Well,
more.
and we talked
Yeah.
about that the other night too, with how
Yeah.
much money, with how important Marvel
Yeah.
content is
Yeah.
to Disney Plus. And I know people might argue, oh, but DC content would be like that for HBO Max. I actually disagree. And I think if you want people right now to come on in and get HBO Max, man, it's got to be Game of Thrones,
That's a
or
big
it's
one.
got,
Yeah.
or Harry Potter. That's if they come out and they say we're doing a Harry Potter adaptation, new show, new cast, but we're adapting all 7 books,
Mm.
and that's going to be the next big thing. Like, to me, that would break the internet. That would break everything. That would just destroy it.
Well, that would be a landmark thing. I think that would be like that needle mover to really get the normies.
Yeah, I
interested in
just
that.
don't see. Yeah, I don't see Batgirl doing it. I don't see Blue Beetle doing it. I see those as like absolute. They're gonna, they're gonna move the. Okay, I mean, okay, so I'm gonna say this, and I don't want anyone to take it the wrong way, but you can tell point blank that the audience that Warner Brothers and DC want to court is South American, predominantly Brazil, because that is where the largest amount of that is where they hold the Comic-Con, right? That CCXP. That is where they always push it.
Brazil's a huge market. I mean, look how much Brazil loves Wonder Woman, for example.
Exactly. I mean, and look at you've got Leslie Grace, and she is Dominican or Colombian. You've got Blue Beetle, that actor of being of Hispanic descent.
Yeah.
And then Sasha Calais as well. She's either Colombian or Dominican. I do forget, and I do apologize. But that is obviously the market that they are trying to capitalize in.
Which makes sense, because that's like a market that I feel like has been largely not ignored, but no one's really pushed for and like really try and capitalize on and try to like really garner.
Yeah. And that's how I very much see that scenario playing out. And that has a lot to do with just, again, the market. It's just the market, guys, and so they're playing into that because they want to build that up. And I've been saying this for a long time, with how it's like, you can tell that the DC market does really well in that culture. And that has maybe a fair amount to do with some of the spirituality from that part of the world, where their approach to gods and legends and things like that. I don't want to say, I don't want to use the word superstitious, but there are a lot of larger than life legends down there. And, like one of my favorite things about Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was the fact that it didn't deal with Western or Eastern religion. It dealt with south of the border type stuff. South America.
I enjoyed that film. I mean, I know people hate on it, but I saw it on my birthday when it was released, and I was very entertained by it.
I like it. I catch crap for it, but I can do everything. I can defend everything but the monkeys. But that's kind of my whole argument here, is just that, like, kind of getting it back on point, because I do want to move on to talking about Spider-Man. But when it comes to this whole argument, like, I don't want to dwell on it every night. I kind of want to put my pin in it right here. But again, I want it to continue. I want people to want it to continue, but I think people need to look at and start really following the numbers and following the money, and start kind of approaching it from a grander view than just like what Zack says, because Zack has teased things that he wants to see done, but that doesn't mean that they're going to happen. And I don't want to like label anyone as being a conspiracy theorist or whatever. I make a joke about, like, Q-Borg or whatever, but it's kind of like, at some point, I think, people are going to come to realize, but what I hope doesn't happen is that, like, and I know, Mikey, you've reported that the merger is going to open things up.
Oh yeah.
And you know what? I hope you're right. I hope you're right. I do.
Well,
Again, I don't see it right now, but I hope you're right.
Well, you're right about the Batgirl and those projects not exciting enough people. But if you put Ben Affleck's Batman in there, it's a totally different story.
But is it Ben Affleck's Batman that's in Batgirl? Because people have been saying that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I've been hearing that for months now. That's the thing that would get subscribers and get the fan base going. But a lot of the choices that Walter Hamada and Toby Emmerich have made have not lit the world on fire. And it's been like a real big issue with the parent company AT&T. Like, what are we doing here? The Trench was just why was even considered for a film, right? I mean, that was Hamada's little pet project.
Yeah. Although now we found out it was a Black Manta movie though, which made people more interested.
I know, and that pisses me off. Yeah. That pisses me off. Yaha Abdul Mateen is awesome.
Yeah.
In that role. So.
But
I mean, I saw, so Andrew Dunbar makes a great comment here. Mm-hmm. He says, I think that they, meaning Warner Brothers, is recognizing that DC or that China is likely to be inaccessible. And that could be because of the type of characters, because if they start getting into the deity stuff.
Oh God, yeah, there's no way.
There's no way. I mean, that's the whole thing with like Spider-Man, which we'll get to here in a second. But I mean, obviously you're probably right. It's going into a market that is proven to have a good track record and proven to definitely sell well on there. And again, I wish it all the best, all the luck in the world. Marvel needs competition. Competition breeds a better time for the consumer. And I think every time Marvel gets into the competition game with DC, every time DC folds like a house of cards every time, like they're like, we're going to do New Gods. And then Marvel's like, we're going to do Eternals. And like, all right, it's a deity off. And then like 3 years pass and New Gods is dead. Never got off the ground. 5 scripts later, it's still toast. And then Eternals comes out, and it's like, all right, they just every time, and it's so sad to see. And I don't know, again, as I said this earlier on Pop Culture Corner, when I was talking, I said, the thing that DC needs the most, is an architect. And I know people like to say Zack Snyder is the blueprint. And to an extent, I agree. But at the same time, he's not there architecting anything.
Yeah.
And whatever happens, like, okay, I don't know yet, but again, the final point I'll make, because I do want to move on. How about this? I'll concede this point. So I was thinking about this today, and maybe you'll agree, maybe you'll disagree. But what I was thinking today was Jim Lee was hinting heavily at Fandome about a Crisis on Infinite Earth.
Yeah.
And that could be something. If the Final Crisis, but I was reading also that Final Crisis is a very hard story to adapt.
It's Grant Morrison. Anything Grant Morrison writes.
Yeah, no, like Final Crisis is like the end all be all of Crisis events, right? That is the buildup of the other ones.
Yeah, it is. It's very dense. You really have to know a lot about DC history. You have to have read the first Crisis to really, sink your teeth into it. Didn't have Anthro, the caveman Anthro in there. I mean, it was a weird book.
Well, I mean, it's something like that if that's what they're aiming towards, because it does feel like, it does feel that it's possible that they are aiming to do Crisis on Infinite Earths or Final Crisis or whatever as a way to just kind of reset the world.
Yeah, there you go.
I thought that's what the Flash movie was going to do.
Well, the Flash movie, see, but the thing is, though, I think the Flash movie was set to do that at the end of his arc, kind of like, as a way to go back. Because if you watch like Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, that's how it ends with Flashpoint and with the Flash going back. And that was kind of, if I recall correctly, that's what I remember them talking about with, like the writers had said that they were pulling a bit from what Zack wanted to do. I could be wrong on that, but that's what I remember. And I think, in that front, it could work. That could be what they want to do with it. But I said this also, if they're not going to do that at this point, let's say if I was in charge, and this is a very, very harsh maneuver. But I would say if I was in charge right now, I would probably cancel everything DC related. And I'm talking everything animated, live action, TV, movies that is not the Batman and that continuity. Everything I'd get rid of. All the Arrowverse shit, everything.
So basically, you're seeing what I've been saying forever. It's that they need to start reboot. They need to reboot, and the Batman is the key.
Yeah, because I think it's like, and that sucks to say, but that is if they want to compete, they've got to get on the same playing field.
Yeah.
And you can't compete unless you are, willing to show up. And this mishmash, very odd way of approaching it is sad to see. And that is the harsh decision that I would make if I was studio head, because that would be a decisive maneuver. Whether or not it turns out that it's the best, you have to trust your creatives. But without an architect, that's the biggest issue. And I saw the comment there about needing, a Stan Lee or something along those lines. But I guess to end up the segment, I guess we'll end it with some faith. All right, Mikey. So
Yeah.
can you give everybody a bit of faith for what might happen? Something my own Scrooge-esque heart won't ever believe, but maybe you can bring some hope to some people's day. How about that?
Yeah, it's all about the money, Matt. In the end, it's all about the money. Yes, you've been right on several things tonight. I mean, you're talking about Batgirl not really building that audience that they need, and that's why you have Affleck in there. It'll generate more interest in there. Not sure if you noticed that, but I rarely cover anything DC outside of Snyder. No one cares. No one fucking cares, dude. Like, why do I have a staffer write this and no one's gonna read it?
Yeah.
If and like I went weeks without writing anything about DC because there's nothing going on. I mean, right now it's a cold lame duck session right now at DC. They can't really greenlight anything until the merger is done. Um, but what I've been hearing a lot lately is I just call him Lava Man. I keep mispronouncing his last name, so I just call him Lava Man. Um, he is researching content that has done well in the comic books and graphic novels, and he's looking at the data and seeing what he can do with DC. I mean, AT&T was not happy with a lot of the ideas that was put through by Hamada and Emmerich, and they're looking for blockbusters now. They're not looking for, Hamada wanted these lower budget films that would make a profit, but they're not blockbusters.
Yeah.
And that's not enough for a billion-dollar company. They don't want the trench what you put a $60 million budget and a $120 million gross. That's not what they're looking for. I mean, Hamada's used to that. He's used to those horror budgets, right? But they want those big blockbusters, and that's why they're keeping a lot of the Snyderverse stuff. Where you have Ben Affleck's in the Flash. They're keeping it alive not because all of a sudden we like Zack Snyder now. They're looking for things that'll generate excitement, and every merger goes through a bloodbath. And I mentioned this numerous times. AT&T wouldn't have done what they did with doing the merger if they were happy with the status quo. People are going to be out of their jobs, which is not something I endorse in any way. But there'll be changes when the merger goes through, and you just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident that you're going to see Zack Snyder back. I'm very, very confident in this because some of the people that give me some of the Sony scoops are the same people who give you some, not all, of the Warner Brothers scoops as well. People involved in the financial aspects of it. So I hear that perspective. Like when I do scoops, I don't talk to creatives, man. I never talk about creative when it comes to scoops. They don't talk. They're not gonna tell me, yeah, I'm writing Eternals 2 right now. No, I don't hear that kind of stuff. I'm I hear from people who are involved in some way somehow they're involved in the financial aspect of it. Whether well, I should even drop hints because they might get. So that's why I'm feeling and keep in mind that when I scooped the Snyder cut and I was the first one to do that because Umberto Gonzalez was obviously saying it was John Campea said it didn't exist, right? Um, I wasn't a Snyder fan then at all. I became a Snyder fan after I saw the Snyder cut. Yeah, I love 300. That was one of the best comic book movies I ever saw. I like Watchmen. I didn't really care for Dawn of Justice until I saw the Ultimate Cut, which I thought was brilliant. Um, so after Snyder Cut, I went and saw Man of Steel, and I finally got it. I finally got what it is that people love about that film. And I think for my generation, man, I'm old. We grew up on Christopher Reeve, right? Um, we were looking for Christopher Reeve still. We miss him. We miss that
Yeah.
Superman.
I get that.
And so when I saw Man of Steel after the Snyder Cut, I was like, you know what? This is Superman for a younger generation, who grew up with, with anxiety and could relate to the Superman growing up. And because really, you guys grew up in a different world than we did, let's face it. And I think the Superman really reflects that. So like my reporting towards Snyder, the Snyderverse, it doesn't come from a hardcore fan. It comes from a converted fan. I'm like a prodigal son or something, Like, okay, now I see the light. But it's really funny that I was put into this position of, getting all these Snyder scoops when I wasn't a fan to begin with, but I became a fan.
Don't say that too loud because they might come for you.
Yeah, I know, right? But I admitted that I'm gonna still show. Hey, I was a total Marvel guy. But I'm a DC Comics guy though. I love DC Comics more than Marvel Comics. I've always have. Um, and I like the Berlanti shows. I mean, I used to rave about them. They got really bad though. Well, that's another topic entirely. But it's it's interesting, but I'm very confident that yeah, I put my name on it. And I say, hey, it's gonna get restored. I put my name on it. I just hear from so many people, and then you have directors like a director of The Flash is a big fan of the Snyder Cut, and you have these filmmakers that want these elements to be in their projects, um, and they're fighting for it. I mean, Ben Affleck was supposed to die in The Flash. He was. Then they kept changing the script. No, he's not dead anymore.
Jeez.
So
No.
just crazy stuff.
So I mean, you kind of said it already, but then just to confirm,
Yeah.
really at this point, it's just wait and see.
Wait and see. Yeah.